Heart Eyes is a rom-com slash slasher film that cleverly combines the two genres together, giving them both equal footing without ever sacrificing the other genre. For better, or depending on your sensibilities, for worse. The first act of this film is entirely a cliche, cheesy, cringy, Hallmark rom-com film. It's delightful! If you like those type of things. If you don't, borderline insufferable. I, for one, fall somehow right in the middle of those two camps, and I found it an odd first 30 minutes of the movie. It's just a classic rom-com movie that you would see on Netflix, except you're in a cinema and you've paid money for it. So I feel like the bar's like just a little bit higher, you know? It's one of those classic will they, won't they? You know they will. You know they will. But will they? They will. You know they will. But at what cost? What will their love cost? What if there's some kind of killer that kills couples on Valentine's Day? That's right, we finally have a serial killer for every single holiday. Probably, I think. I didn't check, but I feel like now we've covered all our bases, right? What Thanksgiving did to Thanksgiving, this film does for Valentine's Day. Kinda? And just when you're starting to feel like maybe you've actually walked into the wrong cinema and this is just a romantic comedy film, it suddenly becomes a fun, brisk, funny, comedy, gory slasher film out of nowhere. And honestly, it suddenly becomes utterly delightful. Except, of course, obviously all the horrific murders, but still, they're pretty fun. And it's just a really, really fun time at the cinemas. But if I'm gonna be honest, I have to disclose this. Before the film, I did go to the pub with my brother and have a cheeky pint or two. So I would say that's probably the only way to enjoy this movie. Go to see this movie with people who you can laugh at the film, but also laugh with the film. Because this film is funny, but also it's funny how bad it is at times. It's a very weird kind of film. I feel like it's a perfect group experience kind of thing. For instance, usually if two teens sit in your row in an almost empty cinema and talk over the whole movie, like it's their first time watching a horror movie, that would be annoying. Genuinely made the film and cinematic experience better. It was also probably the alcohol, if I'm being honest. The alcohol probably did quite a lot to numb the pain. Make me enjoy the movie. So despite the first act of the film being incredibly cheesy, I kind of respected, once the slash aspect of the film kicks in, that they really committed to doing full rom-com before going slasher. Because then as you're watching this slasher film, you're watching these two rom-com characters dealing with everything, and it creates for some really funny stuff and kind of heartwarming in a cheesy, lame kind of way. But it is what it is. It is a rom-com slash slasher film. And by the end of the film, I kind of didn't want them to get killed by this killer, which I feel like is all you can want from characters. Because with a slasher, you either want the killer to kill everybody, Freddy Krueger style, where you're kind of on his side, because it's just fun seeing him do his wacky shenanigans. Calling horrifically murdering teens shenanigans feels wrong, but it's not. Or you want them to survive and beat the killer, which in this case is Heart Eyes. And for some reason, I did. Probably because our two leads have incredibly steamy chemistry. Or they're just incredibly attractive and sexy. Sometimes you can't tell the difference. Are they good at acting and have any chemistry, or are they just very hot? I don't know. So Heart Eyes is our new serial killer, and the design of him is almost something incredibly iconic. If it wasn't just, what if Jason had two love hearts for eyes? I feel like at first I'm like, wow, that's super iconic. But throughout the film, I'm kind of like, everything about this guy, from his tone, his style, his characterization, everything about him was just like, oh, it's just Jason, but he's got two love hearts for eyes. When you see the trailer or the poster, it almost looks more iconic and interesting and fresh and cool. But then in the film, just through the way the character is played out as a serial killer, as this new big bad killer character, I'm just like, it's just Jason. with love hearts for eyes. And in some ways, I do think maybe this guy does have the ability in future films, if we do, Heart Eyes 2, 3, 4, to become iconic. But I kind of feel like it's more just the gimmick of a serial killer killing people on Valentine's Day, or killing couples specifically on Valentine's Day. And that gimmick, I think, has more legs in sequels to become iconic and beloved than the actual look does. The film suffers massively from its third act reveals and revelations because they are so bad and so dumb. Honestly, they're so bad, I actually thought at one point this might be intentionally atrocious and terrible and obvious to kind of poke fun satirically at the slasher genre for sometimes having very obvious twists and reveals, but it doesn't fully commit to the bit and the joke, so either the intent falls flat, or it's just aggressively bad writing. And the kills are gory and fun, and they'll make you squirm, or scream, or clap and cheer. I don't know, whatever you do when you see a big gory kill, you'll do it in this, because they're a lot of fun. The gore and the kills and all that stuff, really, really fun. If you're just here for that kind of stuff, you will have a pretty good time, but I do think some of the negatives do kind of outweigh it from being a classic, fun new slasher film, despite the fact that I would say, go see this in the cinema. I truly think that if you concoct the right amount of alcohol in your body before watching this movie, it can be a 5-star cinema experience whilst you watch a 2-star film. And so, combining all of those and doing some math in my head, I'm giving it 3 stars. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I would love to know, did you like Heart Eyes? But most importantly, join me on Letterboxd. Link in the description. I love Letterboxd. I love to rate movies and say something about them. Yeah, I mean, I just love Letterboxd so much. In some ways, I feel like I love it more than 2 of my 3 kids. Don't tell them that.